Hi everyone, it's Elliot from TutorialEdge.net, and in this tutorial we're going to be looking at the wonderful world of WebSockets and how you can integrate them into your Vue.js applications. Now, just as a disclaimer, I absolutely love playing with WebSockets as they are a really cool bit of technology that allow for incredibly efficient two-way communication over a single long-lived TCP connection. Awesome, so let's dive right in. So we're going to start by setting up our project, and we're going to use the Vue CLI to create a new project, and we're going to call this Vue create. And I'm just going to call this Vue WebSocket tutorial, like so. Now this is going to ask me a few questions, like the presets. I'm just going to say the default, and I'm going to let that go away and download all of our dependencies. Awesome, so now that all of our dependencies have been downloaded, we can navigate into our project directory by doing cd and Vue.js WebSocket tutorial. Now within this we can start our WebSocket application by running yarn and serve, and that'll go away and start the Vue.js application on localhost port 8080. Cool, so let's take a look at the simple approach to integrating WebSockets into our applications first of all. Now I'm going to open up my project directory and I'm going to open up the source and then app.vue component. Now as you can see here, and let me just toggle Vim mode off, this is just the really simple starting point for any Vue.js application. Now I'm going to navigate into the JavaScript element of my component and I'm going to create a new data function, which is simply going to return the connection, which will be null to start off with. Now I'm then going to define the created lifecycle function. Now this is called whenever the application component is initially created within the Vue world. Now I'm going to start off by doing console.log and starting connection to WebSocket server, like so. And then I'm going to define this.connection equals new and WebSocket. And I'm going to pass in the WebSocket URL. So WSS //echo.websocket.org, like so. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is define two callback functions. So the first is going to be this.connection.onOpen, and this will equal a function which will take in the event as its only parameter, and we're going to console.log this event out, and we're also going to console.log that the connection has been successfully set up, so successfully connected to the Echo WebSocket server. Awesome. Now the next callback function we're going to define is the onMessage callback function. So this.connection.onMessage equals function. Oops. And again, this is going to take in the event. And in this case, we're going to simply console.log this event. Now let's cover this and dive into what this actually means. So whenever the connection is successfully opened, this callback will be ran, or this block of code will be executed. And for this one, whenever the WebSocket connection that we have set up receives a message from this connection that we've opened here, it will then simply console.log this event out. Awesome, so now that we've set up this connection logic, the next thing we're going to want to do is define a method within our component. And I like to do that above the created function, so methods, and within this I'm going to do a send message function. So send message function, this is going to take in the message we want to send, and we're going to console.log this.connection just to validate that the connection still looks good, and we're then going to want to do this.connection.send, which is a predefined function which will send our message over this WebSocket connection, like so. Now, as of now, we don't have any means of triggering this function, so we're going to fix that by coming into the template element of our component, and I'm going to delete what's existing there and just define a button element. Now, this will just say send message, and this is going to be v on click. We're going to want to call send message, and we're going to want to pass in a message, so hello world. Awesome. Now, as we just deleted that hello world component, I'm going to delete the references to it, and I'm going to delete the components block here. and that should fix our compiler warnings, and it does. And if we open up the browser and navigate to localhost port 8080, you should see the Vue.js logo and our send message button. Now, I'm going to right click anywhere on the page and open up the console, and you should see within the console, I'm going to make this slightly bigger, that it has console.logged that our application has been able to successfully connect to this Echo WebSocket server. Now, we can now test to see whether our duplex communication is working by clicking the send message button, which will send a message to this WebSocket server and then echo it back to us. And at that point, we should then see a message event print out in the console, as we've defined that this.onMessage callback function. Now let's validate this now. So click send message. It's then echoed out the WebSocket connection, and it's echoed out the message event, which is defined within the onMessage callback. Awesome. Now we've covered the simple approach to integrating WebSockets into your Vue.js applications, and whilst this will work for the majority of small applications, as your application starts to grow and the state within the application starts to become a little bit more complex, it may be time to consider adding Vuex into your application so that you can elegantly handle and store state across all of your components. Now, if you're in this position, then it'd be worthwhile checking out another tutorial I have on the site that looks at how you can state or store and manage state in your Vue.js applications using Vuex, and I'll leave a link to this in the description below. So, if you've appreciated this tutorial and want to see a follow-up tutorial on how to implement WebSockets in a more complex and advanced Vue.js application, then please let me know in the comments section down below. But just to recap, in this tutorial we have managed to successfully build a really simple Vue.js application that utilises WebSockets as a means of communication. To recap, we have looked at how you can open a WebSocket connection within your Vue.js applications and how you can handle that connection using the data function. And then we've also looked at how you can define the onOpen and onMessage callback functions for when your WebSocket connection is successfully opened and whenever you receive a message from that WebSocket endpoint. And finally, we've also covered how you can send messages to this WebSocket endpoint using the this.connection.send method like so. Now that's all we're going to cover. The full text version of this tutorial can be found on my website, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Now, if you enjoyed this tutorial and would like to see more programming content, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more. And as always guys, stay safe and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers!